There is no 4.2, so we're on 4.3. All right. Here is a quad root, a fourth root. So the rules for simplifying the fourth root are very similar to square roots, but instead of 2 factors, we need 4. Will a fourth root create i's if we have a negative on the inside? Yes, it will. Will a third root create i's? No. So if I had the square root, someday I'll get it right, of negative 9, that answer is 3i, right? What about the third root of negative 8? That's just negative 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. What about the fourth root of negative 81? 3i. So evens create i's, odds do not. Okay. And it just so happens that 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and 625 is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So on top, I can bring out a set of 2's with nothing left over. On the bottom, I bring out a set of 5's with nothing left over. So 2/5. Okay. What if there was an extra 3 here and a couple extra 2's down here? So you would have fourth root of 3 and fourth root of 4. All right. Okay. So I have 20 of those. How many sets of 4 does that make? 5. What if it was 23? It would be v to the 5th on the outside. Oh, this is a square root, sorry. Hey, you guys did the same thing that I did. So this is v to the 10th. Sorry. What if it was the square root of v to the 23rd? V to the 11th times the square root of v. I actually think I asked you how many sets of 4 were there, so it was all my fault. I'll take all the responsibility. So in this case, the square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of x to the 4th is just x squared. Nothing's left over. All right. So here, we need to do the exponent first. So negative 2 to the 4th is positive 16. And if I square root that, I get 4. Negative 5 squared is 25. And then if I square root that, I get 5. So you have to be a little bit careful here. Does this square root cancel the squared? Not according to order of operations. Order of operations says do parentheses first and then exponents from left to right, but when you're dealing with parentheses, you do from the inside out. So if you canceled this and this, your answer would be negative 5, but that's not the case because this happens first, which gives you a positive 25, and that's where our answer comes in at 5. All right. So 16 is made up of 2 to the 4th. So I can bring out one of those. So 2. And w to the 8th is made up of 4 sets of w squared. And nothing's left over. All right. negative third root of 8. This is the number 2, and then I'm supposed to change its sign. Okay? So for the next one, we already did this. It's 3i. What if this was a plus and that was a minus? What would the answer be? Negative 3. Okay, what if it's negative on the outside and the inside? Do they cancel? Not on a fourth root. This is 3i, and that would be negative. But what if I had negative third root of negative 27? What's that going to be? The negatives in this case cancel. So this is negative 3, and that tells me to change its sign. So that answer would just be 3. Oh, yeah. So in this case, if it's not real, just click not real. Good eye. Thank you. All right. Square root y to the 14th, we get y to the 7th. Square root x to the 8th, and we just get x to the 4th. That was really easy. Oh, this one's being tricky. Okay. So, what if y is a positive number? If y is a positive number, then it's going to simplify down to y to the 7th. What if y is a negative number? What's going to happen? So negative y to the 14th is a positive number, and then you square root it and you get y to the 7th. Okay? But what if I had the square root of x? Oh, no, that's okay. We can do it this way. So what does y equal? Well, it's the absolute value of y to the 7th. Right? Because if y is a positive number, then y to the 7th, I put that in the wrong place, is fine. But what about if y is a negative number? Then I need to put absolute values around this, because that 7 does not remove the negative. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So let's say we have the square root of negative 3 to the 4th. This is 81, and then I square root it, and I get 9. Right? But what if I did the square root of negative 2 to the 10th? Well, negative 2 to the 10th is 1024. And then when I square root that, I get 32. Okay? Now, 9 squared is negative 3 squared. But is 32 negative 2 to the 5th? No, it's 2 to the 5th. Do you see that? So because this simplifies down to an odd exponent, we have to put absolute values around this. Otherwise, it's not true. So is the square root of y to the 14th always equal to y to the 7th? Only when y is positive. Do you see that? When y is negative, this is not true. So how do we force it to be true? We put absolute values around it. Do I need to do that with b? So this is x to the 4th. Is that statement always true? Yes. Why? Because this is even. If that's even, then we don't need the absolute value on the answer. Okay. Now, technically, if you always use the absolute value, it's going to work every time. But they're asking you to only use the absolute value button when it is necessary. If you put it every single time, you would be correct. But Alex doesn't want you to do it that way. Okay. Get to work.